Are you stuck? How about unhappy? Join Alena Chapman, author, mentor, and life coach for Magical Moments with Alena, as she challenges you to get out of the doldrum and start living your life to the fullest. In just 60 minutes, Alena will help you take control of your life and push you to do the things you never thought you'd do. So get ready to take back your power and celebrate life with Magical Moments featuring Alena Chapman.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Soul Talks. I'm your host, Alena Chapman, and I just love this show because this is where we get to see what some of the so-called experts in spirituality and how they live and the challenges they have and the wonderful achievements they do, how they deal with things. Really, as a human experience, how do they evolve and where are they in their evolution? That's what it's all about. And today I have Greg Prasker. Greg is a sovereign empowerment coach. Don't you love that? Who assists growth-minded individuals through their own spiritual development journey. He's perfect for this show. And with that, I want to bring on Greg. Hello.
Hey, thank you for having me. So excited to be here.
I'm so excited to have you. Okay, I always start out with this one question because I think it's important for people to see what got you to where you are right now, doing what you do with other people. I mean, let's face it, you probably weren't doing this right out of college. There was something that happened that got you into this line. It usually is that way. What is your story?
So I was depressed and anxious for much of my life. I was on, but I would do it over again. Everything I've had to go through to be right here, right now, I would do it over again. So I love letting people know that. So, I was on all kinds of medication, just tons of Xanax and, Adderall, effects, all the things across everything from high school till about 8 years ago.
Wow.
One day I just started taking Xanax stick after Xanax stick, and I took like a handful of them. I don't remember thinking in my mind like I want to end it, but clearly I took like 20 to 40 Xanax sticks, which is, one Xanax stick is a lot, but I got in a car and I rear-ended somebody, and that was my wake-up call. It was very light, fender bender. I was gone. I don't know how I made it home. Like I was, it was tough. I split my tongue in half too, and you can't get stitches on your tongue, and it was very painful few months right there, but that was my wake-up call.
Wow.
So I turned to hypnosis, and I just from practicing in class, it was like shifting things in me, and I was like, wow, this is powerful. And I got off all my medication, and I went cold turkey off all of it, but I don't suggest that for anybody. I'm just an all or nothing person, and I'm like, either I'm going to do it or I'm not. And it was, withdrawal is real with it. So yeah, I turned to hypnosis, and and I was like, I have to do this. This is what I'm called to do. So I took it seriously. I studied under another professor, and I became a hypnotist.
Interesting. Well, we're going to touch on that too. Yeah. And then from a hypnotist, okay, so the first thing you started was hypnotism. I wonder why.
So I was actually seeing, I had sciatica come up at the time, and I was seeing this acupuncturist, and she said she kept seeing me as a healer, and I didn't know what that meant. I was just like a regular dude. I'm like, if you would have told me 10 years ago I was doing this, I would have been like, you're out of your mind. Like ascension, aliens, like what? And so she said that, and the shaman started coming in, and then she just, my friend Eileen said, hypnosis. And I was like, hypnosis, like bark like a dog, quack like a duck? She's like, no, it's serious stuff. So that I ended up reaching out to my brother-in-law, who I would never, he's not like, very spiritual, great guy, but, not on this path. And I reached out to him, and I just started talking about it. So what's funny is years before I worked for him in life insurance, and he had this conference room that they rented out to this guy who had all these tapes about like weird stuff like meditation. And so it ended up, he was a hypnotist, and the guy was a friend of his business partner's family. So he let me take the course for free. So it's like, it all just came full circle. It was so like how that happened. And then, I was doing hypnosis. I was helping people with, like quit smoking, weight loss, anxiety. I was helping teenagers with like eating disorders, learning disabilities. But kind of where I'm from, it's a little more conservative. So it didn't really like fully take off. Like, it was just amazing things were happening, but I know it's because I was called to do more. So I started sitting with plant medicine, and all the gifts and abilities and other lives of doing all kinds of work just started opening up. I got a download to get a set of solfeggio tuning forks. I didn't know what that was. I bought them and I just started working, and I knew I've done this before, or I'm doing it concurrently somewhere else, you know. And then energy work and breath work, just started adding all that over the years. And so it all just came into um, one amazing kind of all the modalities together just to help people shed mind, body, soul.
Isn't that fascinating? That's fascinating. And you brought up you brought up reincarnation. And it is funny when it's something about the soul, and it's something about um, when you start to connect, which you did, you started to connect to your higher self in curiosity, which is wonderful. I love curiosity. But then, stuff just falls in line, and all of a sudden you get this feeling. It's natural. It's like you always were that. That's what's happened to me too, and it feels good. And so many times we fight that.
Oh yeah.
We fight that because no, 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 I don't do that now. I don't. Where's that coming from? Oh, that's deja vu, and we just kiss it off. But yet, it is actually totally in every life we've had, some aspect of it.
Absolutely, it's all connected.
I want you to talk a little bit more about that in your experience.
Absolutely. So I'll start off with this, and then I'll get into Guatemala and Mexico. So I was a friend of mine does hypnosis, and we were working on each other like every week for probably like a year and a half. So it was amazing just to keep, just constant weekly, because it's a lifetime of or lifetimes of healing. So in one session, I found out that when I was 4, I realized that there was some like gifts and abilities, like I could see or something, but then I shut it down. So I didn't know, a lot of healers are like, oh, I always knew, this, that. And, I knew when I was young, when I was in high school, I was studying astrology. None of that. It came after, So I always felt, I feel very, very called to Egypt, to like the Mayan culture, to Native American, and to Australia, New Zealand, as far as like my healing, my gifts and abilities. So I went to Tulum 2.5 years ago, and I went to the Koba ruins. Oh, wow. And I was sitting on top of the Koba. So let me backtrack a second, actually. When I did my first ayahuasca ceremony, I saw this pre-Hispanic indigenous guy with like a bone through his nose, and I had no clue what it was. So fast forward to Koba, I'm walking around Koba, and it was revealed to me that that was me in that life.
Oh my gosh, how cool.
Yeah, it was wild.
So cool. I love that kind of stuff.
So it just started opening up, and then I was sitting on top of the ruin. I don't call them ruins, because ruins means they're like dead, but they're temples, so they're still alive. So I was sitting on top of the temple, and I just got these downloads, like welcome, it said welcome home, and basically that we're going through this medicinal renaissance. So all the original medicines are coming back. Breathwork is not new. Breathwork is ancient. Herbalism, ancient. Even CBD, we're seeing the rise of all that. Yeah. So and energy work, and hypnosis is somewhat more modern. Not in the 1800s it started getting developed by Milton Erickson, things like that. But just all these things, these are the original medicines, and they've obviously been pushed away. So as far as the other lives, it's interesting because I'm not someone who reads books. I don't watch like YouTube videos. I'm not allowed to. My guides are like, no, you don't have to know anything. Just be in this flow state and serve. When you need to know, then you'll know. So that's why before I went to Mexico, I didn't know anything about, I would try and look into Mayan culture, and it's like my brain just shuts off. And I'd be like, all of a sudden I get super tired or something. I'd try and watch the pyramid codes about Egypt, and it just shuts down. So I know once I get there, it'll be revealed. And then once I got to Mexico, it started getting revealed, and it was just, so powerful. And then I followed that up with Guatemala. I spent my 40th birthday on the top of the Tikal ruins. I went to Lake Atitlan. I went to Belize, to Altunja.
Belize, I want to go there.
Yeah, you got to go to Altunja, the temple of the sun god. It was the closest I've gotten to levitating.
I bet.
And then more recently, I went to Mexico to sit with some medicine to Merida. And then I went to Tulum for another week. So yeah, really powerful stuff. But yeah, we are, technically we say there's no such thing as time. So as far as like, we're living these same lives concurrently. Yes. So right now, the whole Mayan existence is actually happening right now in another dimension. So I know that
concept for so many people to understand.
Yeah.
I bet I mean, okay, so let's start with, how do you experience that?
Have I experienced?
How do you experience that, knowing that everything is, I know how I do, but how do you experience that linear feeling in time, that everything is happening at the same time?
I mean, visions. I see it. I'm starting to see more visions of it, and it's just really this knowing and trusting. That I mean, I'm in contact. I am a Pleiadian. If for anybody that, yeah. So this is a Pleiadian soul symbol right
Yeah.
here.
Oh my gosh. Well, welcome, brother.
It is. Huh? So
How old I am. Yeah.
yeah, so I've been channeling them, and I know I'm like, whoever I am up there, I'm here to like build an army of healers and stuff. So I'm sure we'll get to that. But so it's all these messages come through, and I just trust. There was a point in my life where I just stopped questioning things, and anything that comes through that I know is from them. Obviously, we are still human, so that once in a while those irrational fears come up. I mean, I've been doing this 8 years, and this past few days, the energy that's been going on was pretty crushing. So, but I just trust. I know, it's I'll channel stuff, and being that I don't watch YouTube videos, and then all of a sudden a YouTube video will pop up on Facebook, and it's someone saying the exact same thing I'm saying. So how can I doubt it?
I doubt it. I got very curious in this when I was waking up from nighttime, exhausted, and yet I wasn't awake. And I started to say, now that is strange. I had one of those last night, actually. And so then I started looking at it, and I started paying attention to my dreams. And I was always like in a future or a before me or in another world. And I thought to myself, when I got up, I felt very disoriented and tired. I thought, oh my gosh, I'm traveling at night. I'm traveling to different time zones. I can feel it. I can feel it in myself. And so that's when I started getting very interested and learning more about this, everything going at the same time. I take people on shamanic journeys all the time to meet their older self or their younger self. It's and they're thinking it's all fun, but it's really there.
Yeah.
You are there, folks, and it is it's very incredible. It's just a concept that is so hard. Even for me, even though I don't know if you find this, it's still kind of hard to kind of get it into your mind, but it is there. I keep having to say, yep, that is true. That is true. Always be amazed, but not surprised, right?
That's it. Everything is still surreal to me. I do card readings, and people just, I don't never spoke to them. They send me, the payment and their email address, and it's like exactly them. And they're like, oh my God, it's like we know each other. And it's still surreal to me that this is still coming through, and I get to do this, all of it.
That's interesting. I just learned how to do a healing far away spiritually, a spiritual healing, to clean someone's spirit from the blocks, from the disease. I just learned, and I actually learned a shaman, a very well-known shaman. I had interviewed her, and afterwards she said, I want you to do, I think it was a challenge. I want you to do a healing on me. I said, I'll try. And I did it. Now, the thing that amazed me is that when I told her, I wrote down 3 journeys that I did. I wrote down everything that from the guides I met. And she said, oh my gosh, you are so on. Now, this is across the USA. And that was my first time. That is surreal. To know that I can do that so far away, that set me on a high for about a week. It's so surreal that you can do that. Just amazing. And you do that, right?
All day. And yeah, and it's, even with my sound healing, it's yeah, to really, it's funny. I do every Sunday night, I do free sound baths live on Facebook and Instagram. And then Wednesday nights I do healing journeys where I create like a healing journey with electronic music, with gongs and everything like that. Yeah, it's like shamanic journey. It's amazing. But to see like people, even just from that, like not the one-on-one work, just receiving that energy, we're all frequency, we're all energy.
Energy is so powerful.
We're all in the ether. So it's like, it's no different than if you're next to me or if you're halfway across the world. It does its thing.
And let's do me because some people may know this and some people may not, and we want to make it open to everyone. You know, when we're talking about feeling it on a spiritual level, feeling it on this plane, where explain that concept, would you? Because that is a foreign concept to a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, we're so closed off to our consciousness with everything you know, that's been bombarded into us since day one, you know, all the food we eat, all the stuff on TV. So we've just gotten, you know, calcifying our pineal gland, fluoride, this, that, and the other. So it's really on a spiritual level to feel those things, to be able to, you know, open up. And it's going to be foreign to some people, you know, it always will be, because if you're just going to keep doing what you're doing, chances are, you know, I don't know if awakening is a choice. I don't believe it is. I think we wake up exactly when we're supposed to. So it's like, you know, everybody's getting mad at people who are asleep right now, but it's not a choice. They're programmed. They'll get there, you know, and we have to be there for them. So, but once you're there, you just feel different. And spirituality to me is, you know, being in touch with self, with the collective, humanity, with the planet, and with animals. Like those are the four pillars to me. You know, when you're that, yeah. And you don't have to be, you know, you know, you could still be in corporate America and be spiritual. You don't have to go like full on, but a lot of people think, because, you know, you see all these spiritual heads out there that are just completely go from zero to complete woo woo. And then, you know, other people are kind of like they're scared off by that. So that's why with me, I'm like a chameleon.
I could, my life.
Yeah.
No, you know, for years, because we've all had our childhood thing where we were awakened. We all have that. But then we went through life because everybody wanted us to be something else. And so and I was labeled the kid with a wild imagination. There, dismissed, you know, and that's okay. But you still don't leave that spirituality. It's still in you. And you can be, gosh, I always call it the unconscious competent. You know, I always wondered when I was asleep somewhat, but there were two things that just brought me to such a state of bliss and to such a state of, I could see the glory, I could see divinity, and that was music and the sky. And when I'm in my car, I blast the music and I am right there looking at that sky, and it's like I'm there. You know what I mean? And when I'm there in my unconscious competent days, I found that things were just coming into my path. Things were just not just synchronicities. I mean, total little miracles that you would never imagine. Things were just appearing that was like, I didn't even think of that. You know, I'm just loving what I'm doing and I'm hearing my music and I'm seeing that glory and I'm doing my thing, and everything was smooth. And then I started listening to people. You know, you really need to get married. You really need to have this. You really need to do this. And it all stopped. And that's when I said, wait a minute. What happened to my magic? What happened to everything? And I had to learn how to get my way back. But I think we carry that spirituality in us. And depending on what it is, it fortifies us when we don't know it. I think we're all unconscious competence. So the wake up is just when we're ready, but we carry it within ourselves to a certain level if we open to that much of it. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And you know, it's interesting. I was in a psilocybin ceremony years ago in Brooklyn, and it was during the day. And it was in Williamsburg, and I'm looking out the window and I'm watching the trees breathe. Like I'm just watching them breathe, and then I'm looking at everybody walking by, and I'm like, how lucky am I that I get to experience this? And a lot of people don't. A lot of people don't see that, but that is there. You know, it's just our pineal glands are shut down, and so most people can't see those things. But it's just it's amazing to really. I would never go back. I mean, yeah, the awakening process is pretty painful, but at the same time, like. You know, I mean, there are days where I'm like, I wish I was just kind of like a regular, you know, had a regular job and had, you know, a wife and 2 kids and took our one vacation a year. And then I'm like, nah, that's not what I'm here to do, you know?
It's so boring.
Yeah.
I mean, I love vacations, but our vacations are, it's different. It's different. I'm not satisfied. And we went on a cruise once and I thought I was going to shoot the person who kept ringing the bell to tell I didn't want to be confined to that schedule. But anyway, I want to kind of, you talked about the swelling of the trees. Yeah. Yeah. Or when you walk by it, they just sway with you, that kind of thing. Yeah. So I also want to kind of jump into that music because you do sound healing.
Mhm.
And I want to talk a little bit so that people can, this is powerful. Like when I start to drum, that's a trance thing. You know that because you're a hypnotist.
I know
When
that.
when I do a shamanic journey and I do a semi-guided, I know that people don't usually, but I'm trying to help people to get there,
Yeah,
through
yeah.
that portal.
I do
But
the same way.
you see it, yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Anyway, as soon as that drum starts, I'm in the trance, and I love it. But for sound, so magic in music is just the same. So
Mhm.
when you have sound healing frequencies that heal the body, can you talk a little bit about that? Because that's
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So for one, there's 432 hertz, which is, it's just all our music was set to 432 hertz and it's a healing frequency. Literally, if all our music was 432 hertz, the world would be a different place. But the powers that be saw this and they changed it to 440 hertz. I think it was
why?
in like the early 1900s.
Yeah, why?
Because
Why did they do that? I mean, if everybody is kind of happy in the music, because I studied early music, that's what I did, and yes, it is different. We talk about it with my specialty requires that we're early music, like we're talking the 1200s, 1300s, okay, 1400s, that period. So we always talk about how the instruments now are geared for another frequency and it needs to be in this one, and it's totally different music when you do that.
of course.
So, and I always was curious and nobody ever answered me on that. Why did they want to change it? Why did we have to change that?
Well, imagine if no one needed any antidepressants and anti-anxiety pills anymore. Imagine if everyone was happy and united. Imagine if we all got along. Would the powers that be still have, the power that they have? And I could talk for days on that. It's but that's it. The solfeggio scale is what I use with my tuning forks, and I use in my journeying and stuff too. It's 9 frequencies that they used to the monks when you hear like the monks chanting, they chant in solfeggio, and then they disappeared. They just those frequencies.
Dorian modes and the modes. Have you done the Dorian, Phrygian, all those modes too? They
Yeah,
were modes,
yeah.
totally different.
Yeah, but it's a lot of stuff like that. Even the number 13. The number 13 is a healing lucky number, and it's they make like it's all over. Like I have it tattooed, and all of my tattoos 13. It's my number. So it's they removed that too and made it seem like it's unlucky when it's not. So yeah, I mean with sound, it's just different frequencies do different things. 396 hertz liberates fear and guilt. 417 hertz helps with transmuting. 528 hertz, which most people now are familiar with, or a lot are, is the love frequency. It actually changes your DNA. And they correspond to each chakra as well. So 396 hertz, fear is the root chakra, and 417 the sacral. Yeah. 639 is the heart chakra. It's all about relationships. 741 is the throat, communication. 852. Yep, 852 is the third eye. And these things work. I put together these healing tracks on my YouTube channel and stuff. And and even when I hit a singing bowl that's a heart chakra singing bowl, you feel it in your heart. It's
So it's vibration. It's vibration that brings a vibration. Okay. So when you play a drum, put it in simple, because that's someone solid, you know what I mean, for people. It'll vibrate within you.
Yep.
Now that can go into the water. We're 80% water, folks.
Yeah.
And that water then starts to vibrate at whatever frequency you're listening to. Cells, I'm bringing the science in here, okay? So cells are conditional, okay? Limpton, he did experiments in 1969, 1973, all about how our cells are conditional, meaning they are affected by the condition they live in. And guess what they live in? Water. Then that water affects us on a cellular level. That's how come it can change DNA. That's how come it can change different things within the cell, because it's providing an environment for those cells to thrive in that vibration. Correct?
Absolutely, yeah. And it's, it's, I'll go further deeper into the
Oh,
scientific side of it. So there was a gentleman named Royal Rife 84 years ago. And he, if you're familiar, he is why the Rife machine exists. So this Rife machine has all different frequencies, and you use it to heal things in your body. So 84 years ago, he cured 16 people of cancer. He was a biologist. He developed a microscope, and then he realized that we're all frequency. So when you think about it this way, and this is the perfect analogy, you have an opera singer, you have a glass. Glass, even though it's solid, is vibrating at a certain frequency. What happens when her voice matches the pitch of the glass? Shatters. It's the same premise with cancer, with pathogens, with, I have a Rife machine right next to me. I use it for candida and parasites and, to clear out the system, to detox. So, with sound, it's just fear vibrates at a certain frequency. So when you're hitting it with that same frequency, it dissipates.
now that I do, yeah. Well, I do know that, but it is, I love hearing it, and I love feeling that same frequency. Yeah, with any disease, you hit it with the same frequency, or you provide the body that equipment to do that, it's gone.
Yeah.
Incredible. Incredible. And so with this, so that is basically sound healing. And
Yeah.
then if you have sound healing, what other, well, gosh, I come to you, I get the sound healing. I'm on easy street now, right?
Yeah, and it's the most relaxed you've been in a long time.
Wow.
And it's not even just the free, I do guided as well when I do my shamanic journeying or my sound bath. So like there's times where I'm just quiet and I say, you guys just do your thing, whatever comes up, let it come up and, work through it. Or sometimes I'll guide them, like if we're doing an inner child one or a cord cutting one, or, the ones I do Wednesday, we go down below shamanic journeying and meet with whoever comes and receive healing from them and get messages and everything. But yeah, it's so a lot. It's used to, it's like a journey of, some of them I do is like death and rebirth. The whole right into it, killing off whatever needs to be killed off, and then being reborn after it.
Like the phoenix.
That's it. Rise up.
I want to hear your opinion on healing. Is healing necessary for the evolution to unfold?
Like the
evolution of the soul, or our awakening, or being able to to really see the wonders of divinity, to open up to different levels in our top chakra, to be able to just open ourselves to that. Do you find that the hangups, the emotional things that we hold on to the belief system that sometimes we hold on to, do you find that it puts like a glass ceiling?
Absolutely, 100%. And I preach this in every day in all my lives and everything. Like, you got to work on your stuff. And we all have our stuff. We are all human. That's it. We are here to have this human experience, And a lot of spiritual heads do try and bypass that, but I don't. I'm here. And I have my traumas from when I was young. If I didn't work on it, I could not be doing what I do. I could, and a lot of people are like, I want to find my gifts, I want to find my purpose. And I'm like, well, are you doing the inner work? And they're like, yeah, I meditate for 5 minutes a day. I'm like, that's not the work. Like, you need plant medicine, hypnosis, shamanic journey, EFT tapping, whatever it is, you have to get to the root. Yeah, you have to get to the root.
And you have to get to the root. And it's not that scary. I find that what happens, because I take people on journeys, and those that have done the work, they'll soar. They just they go through that porthole, and they have these incredible journeys. And the ones that are holding on, you got to remember, I really do see those emotional things. They hold our chakras in chains. They just, the emotional, even the memories you have, you can forgive the person and still hold on to the emotion. And when we hold it as a badge, a lower level lesson, and we just wrap our around our heart chakra a lot of times, and we just hold this chain there. And when we do that, it alters our belief system. It alters our belief in ourselves. I would love for you to add to this. Everything I say, I want you to just take and run, because and I know, we're on the same path. Yeah. I know how much you know. I think it's cool, and it's to get you started. But this incredible, when you understand that those chains, they actually form our belief system in ourselves and our abilities. That's what puts the glass ceiling up.
Yeah, absolutely. And, and it's even with forgiveness, I have this conversation every day. Like forgiveness, people are like, oh yeah, I forgave them. I'm like, a lot of people come to me for hypnosis and they're like, oh, I already forgave, because I work with a lot of people with, lately it's been a lot of women who have been sexually abused by men, which is pretty surprising because most of them will not trust a man to work with them. But, people know me and they see me and they feel my energy and they know I'm not, someone like that. So it's been pretty surreal, especially this realization the past few days. But a lot of them will come, oh, I already forgave my attacker or my abuser, but you didn't if you didn't do it subconsciously. And when we go down into the room and you're facing it, and it really isn't that hard. Like most of them, it may be a little bit of a difficult session for a few minutes just facing them, but it always goes so well. And yeah, we are so bound up. And, if it is all about vibration and frequency. So the higher we're vibrating at, the more open, the more clear, the more happy, the more you're there. So if you're living in fear and you're still holding on to the old stuff, then that's holding you down. And it's, yeah. So I beg people, like I implore people, just please do the work, eat better. It's all part of it.
It all part of it. I really do feel, and even with the things I have conquered in my life with health or whatever, and that was part of the journey, I had to learn. And even this last thing I did with the shaman, that stuff, it's like when we feed ourselves, we're not just feeding the body, we're feeding our spirit. And everything shows up in the spirit world. This is a question. Spirit world, before it comes into the physical world. Do you agree or disagree?
Yeah, it's absolutely. And I think it's there. Like sometimes it doesn't come to us if we're not vibrationally like ready for it. So it's like kind of manifesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're, as far as like manifesting, which is what we do all day, every day, everything that comes into our life, the whole, the universe has your back. It does, but both ways. It has your back negative, if you're going to be thinking negatively and that's what you're vibrating, it has your back and that it's going to bring you more negative. If you are, and if you're positive, then it's law of attraction is a thing, so I think you just have to meet it vibrationally. But yeah, it's all there. Like everything is ready for us and it's all ready to come in. We just have to work on the human side of things to bring it in.
We really do. I know people don't always understand that. And are manifesting, when people are having trouble manifesting and they're even in their own healing, it's because they're holding on. It's because they haven't changed their perspective, their vibration, they haven't met. And hypnotism has always fascinated me. That's the one thing I haven't studied. Have I been hypnotized? Yes, I think I have. And but I want to learn more about that. That's something that interests me. With your hypnotism, oh yeah, you hear, oh, we can stop you from smoking, we can help you lose weight, I've done past life regressions. That's where my hypnotism has come into play.
Yeah.
But tell us more about hypnotism, because there's still a mystique around that, I think, in the spiritual world.
It's interesting. Yeah, no, there is. And there's been like this, it's funny because lately all of a sudden everybody's running to me for hypnosis, where before it was more of the other stuff. I feel like actual hypnosis itself went through this like energetic shift, because it's I've been talking about this for years and now people are like, you're a hypnotist. I'm like, you've been following me for years, what are you talking about? But it hasn't been at the forefront of what I speak about for some reason. And so through hypnosis, we all have subconscious and the conscious mind. From once we hit 7 years of age, we put up the critical factor is what it's called. And that is between our subconscious and our conscious. That's why as an adult, it's so hard to change, because, to go into that subconscious by treating the conscious doesn't happen. So through hypnosis, it's a hyper state of awareness where we bring that subconscious forward so we could do the work on it. So with the hypnosis I do, there's hypnotists out there that will, kind of replace one behavior with another, but that's not really getting to the root. That's treating the symptom just like we do in society. So with what I do with hypnosis is age regression, where we go back to the root. So say you have anxiety, we bring it up, we follow it back to the first time you ever felt it, and it's anywhere from when you're in the womb till 7 years of age. And a lot of people will have anxiety simply from being born. You're in this safe place, you're in the womb, it's all nice and dark and warm, and boom, now you're in this light-filled room with doctors, nurses, you know, you don't know anybody in there. So yeah, so we go back to before the things started in life. And a lot of times I go bring people back to the womb. So they meet with their younger self. And it's like, imagine if when you were in the womb, someone like that you trusted, like an older sister or an aunt, came to you and prepared you for life. So that this way you're going to go through it differently than the way the grown up you went through it. So, you're going back, you're telling that younger self, listen, things are going to happen, but you get to grow up. You're badass. You're amazing. Like, you're safe. I have your back. I'm always with you.
Oh, nice.
So it's a rebirth, and not just from like now forward, but from all the way back then that ripples all the way up till now. So it's like when we're reliving those events again, that, whether it was trauma, well, it's all trauma, whether it was sexual trauma or abuse, whatever it is, like you're seeing the younger one go through it in a whole different way. And it just keeps rippling up, and then you're good. So between that and then the forgiveness work, forgiveness of others, forgiveness of self, forgiveness of self, where it's just this oneness happens, because, it's all, if you have anxiety, it's a part of you that's firing it off. It's not whatever somebody does to you, it's how we react, and it's up to us to change that. So when you actually meet with that part of you that's firing off that anxiety and come to an agreement that we don't need that anymore, I got this, because
it changes the whole belief system from that point on.
And it's, the beautiful thing about hypnosis is, with a lot of other modalities and even plant medicines, you have to integrate, you have to process. It's like a long it just keeps. But with hypnosis, we're done with that session and it's done. It's, and I've been working, it's really rough ones, and I've learned to detach kind of and not get affected. But hearing, while we're in hypnosis, hearing stories of rape and, molestation and stuff. So, I've had some really tough clients over the past few weeks that literally after that age regression session, it's like a whole new life, just instant,
because you change the belief system.
Yeah,
in a totally new way.
Yeah.
And the subconscious just accepts it.
That's it. Yeah,
they live through it again. I get it.
It's that easy.
Very incredible. That's incredible. I love that. I think when we use it for such good, and it helps, and all the modalities, the healing modalities, they've been kind of clamped on by pharmaceutical, because it's not a repeat customer.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that, and that's not a moneymaker. If you can cure them, then you can't keep them. And I'm not a philosophy of that. But in all this, you also brought up the plant medicine, and plant medicine is something that I have always had an interest in too. The plant medicine, plants will tell you. People don't understand that. Nettle is a superfood. The things that we dismiss are actually wonderful medicine for us that we don't even know. You have Dandelion. Oh my gosh, dandelion. Incredible.
Do you know how powerful something must be that has to grow through concrete to get there? Like that's when you see, I took an herbalism course, and we were talking about different herbs that like different plants that have to grow through the New York streets, basically, and it's like, do you realize how powerful that medicine is if it has to like fight to come up?
Yeah, I know. Isn't it true?
Even CBD.
And CBD.
I actually have a small batch CBD oil company where I do like all blessing on. I treat it like plant medicine. I bless the oil and everything like that.
Oh, that's nice. CBD helped my middle son, with his stomach problems. It just all of a sudden just kind of calmed it down for him, and it was an overproduction of acid, so it was really a nice. It really helped him, and so I do believe in it. But there's so much we need to look at in helping ourselves to grow. And sometimes I think, do you find that sometimes people say we're on the spiritual path and we treat it like we are a warrior? We are going to conquer everything. We're going to evolve. We're going to do it in our own room. We're not going to try a lot. I find that people sometimes want to grow, but they're hesitant to try the things that will help them grow.
100%. We're programmed to think, it's for one, we're programmed to think these things are bad. I've known people who are, heroin addicts, and their families like, no, plant medicine, no, it's just another drug, you know. Meanwhile, something like ibogaine cures addiction, you know, cures it. Like I know people who they don't still say I'm so and so and I'm a heroin addict. They're done. They don't go to meetings. Like it's not a thing anymore. So yeah, it's been
What about ayahuasca too?
yeah.
Ayahuasca.
Ayahuasca, but I just worked with Bufo down in Mexico, the toad medicine. But it's hard because I am vegan. I don't really, you know. But I've actually been called away from psychedelics like 2 weeks ago because I was going to serve it. I was going to move to Mexico and like do retreats and stuff. But you know, during that session is where like hypnosis just came fully more alive for me because it's like you do hypnosis, you change lives like that. What do you need plant medicine for?
Right.
And like,
That's
okay,
right.
yeah,
You found your modality. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Yeah,
yeah.
very cool. Yeah, and it's listening to that guidance, you know, and I'm telling you folks, if you start listening to the guidance within yourself, it's enough to teach you. It's enough to show you the way. It's just starting to tap in and listen. And I
Yeah.
think sometimes we want to jump ahead so fast and we
Yeah.
want to make it happen. And we want to, we think we know best and we think we have all the answers, but it's surrendering that ego. It's
Yeah, and
really
being vulnerable.
surrendering ego.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
And being vulnerability, you know?
Yes. Yes. And just, yeah. And I think that vulnerability will open you. It will open you. It will open you to listen. It will open you to say, there's another way. Yeah, you need to have that. So with all this, I think it sounds like your life is unfolding in a fabulous way and you're learning and you're completely guided. All right. So what's the challenge? Where are you having a challenge? What is it? What's been a challenge now or even in the past? What do you find? What are you working on?
Um, so all right, I'll be honest. Smoking cannabis. I don't use it as medicine. I've been smoking my whole life. I just quit again a week ago. But it's like I get to this great place and I'm like there, but it's scary because I know, you know, it's not even fear of like success or like failure or rejection. It's fear of like I'm about to build this platform and bring together a lot of healers, and I know there's like I'm here to develop an army of healers, and that's scary, you know. Deep down, there's so I think like I smoke to kind of distract with, you know, and then I end up. I mean, I still get work done, but then I self sabotage with that. Eat, you know, so some addictions like that. But it's a little bit of overwhelm now because like a year ago, not much was going on. You know, I joined this mastermind, I wasn't really feeling it, and now it's like I'm getting downloads all day, every day. All right, you got to do this, you got to do this, you got to learn music and make music, you got to learn Spanish, you have to, you know, you got to put together this platform. I mean, I got this list up here. It's great.
Oh my God.
So it's 8 million things, you know, and I do still waste a little too much time on social media, even though I am a content creator. But it's the overwhelm, but it's working. It's good. Like I'm good. I could handle it. I'm weaving, you know. It's all divine.
Yeah.
So well, there is, you know, I'm letting go. I went to the gym for the first time in years and got a personal trainer. So you know, I'm vulnerable too. I share everything about my life. I don't hold anything back because when I see healers that act like they truly have it all together and don't need to work on themselves anymore, like steer clear. No.
Yeah, nobody is there, folks. Nobody. I mean, we are human, and don't you feel that we're here to live a human experience with all its frailties, all its insights, all its experience. We're here to taste and try. That means the good and the bad. And I think we always have, if we're not experiencing something, then we're not growing. It's as simple as that. And but you know, I have the same thing as you. I don't smoke only because I don't like how it hurts my throat.
Yeah.
Just very basic that way.
No, that's it. Listen, it's good. Our lungs we're not supposed to be smoking anything in reality.
Oh,
you know. Better to take it as an edible, but
yeah, an edible, yeah. And that's nice. I haven't got that balance yet though. But I love movies. And that is like you say, that's your escape kind of thing. That's mine. Just to go and sit in a movie, get wrapped up. I love that. I have done that forever. And that is it can turn just as much into an addiction as anything else.
Absolutely.
It's an escape route, folks, and I use it.
Yeah. I watch TV every night. I watch TV. I watch the same sitcoms I've been watching for years, like marathoning them. The end of my night, and I know it's bad. I have to get away from, but it's laughing. You know, it's good to end the night on laughing. But then I end up staying up all night
I
and
know.
eating, pounding food all night, and
Oh
it's
my gosh, yeah, it could be my brother. No, I really have. I have, because I know my personality, and I know that I love to laugh. I love that escape. I love that release. So what do? I plan my days. And like Sundays are my day. Sundays from such and such a time. That is when I can just fill my world with whatever it is I want. That is a release. And I find that it works well because it gives me a look forward to. And I am not constantly doing it because I can get lost in it. It's funny how many, and I'm bringing this up because I think people out there don't realize that. But I can get so lost in that my kids are, what happened to family night? Well, mom's watching a show, that is not good. You have to, those little things that we do, they can become just as addictive as any drug on the market.
Yeah, work, running. I mean, exercise. Yeah. I mean, and anything could be a drug. Anything could be a drug. It's if you use it that way.
And we don't see it. And my father used to say, and I do think it's important. He told me when I was young, he says, if you need it, you don't do it. If you want it, it's okay. Have you heard that?
I haven't, but I like I mean, in some way, shape, or form, but no, I haven't actually. I like that. Yeah.
It is. So when I need it, I think, oh, wait, no, because then I'm using it as an excuse.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to do it. And it's made me put that schedule because I thought, no, hey, I need it too much. That's to escape, Yeah.
That's actually one thing. That's actually the one. Pretty much everything else I'm taking care of. The one thing that's next is organization and just organizing my days and say from 12 to 2 this, from and shut my phone off because I'm in crypto coin now, and so I'm like just staring at the screen and like it's so many bells and whistles going off everywhere that I have to just hone in and focus. And but I use frequency healing for that. I use different. I'll go on YouTube and say frequency binaural beats for focus and things like that. So,
I think that is very cool. I tell you, it is getting organized. I've been on that route, and I'm an idea person too. And the organization, I'm always striving to get better. So that is always a constant. And also not filling my plate up too much.
Yeah, I can't. I have no choice right this second. But I know it's I know really if I just hone in, it's the next month. Then life will get easier. I'll hire a team, and because all I want to do is make music, do healing work, and make content, and just hand it off to a team. You take care of my social media. I don't want to be have a team of everything, and just not have to just do the. I love all parts of it. It's all of it, but I don't want to deal with the business side, have an accountant, bookkeeper, just everything like that. And
it is very nice when you get that team. What inspires you? I mean, what really just when it happens or you see it or you feel it, it just know that everything is going to line up beautifully. It just inspires you to high heaven. What is it?
A lot of, people shifting in my sessions, that definitely does. One big thing that inspires me are I'm very connected, and I'm not sure why yet, to those with special needs, and seeing people with special needs overcome, tears every time, that's my heart right there. And that's why even though TikTok's not the greatest platform, it's given a space for people with special needs or disabilities to have a voice and stuff. So to see people on there, that's one of the big ways that and to see unity, to see people coming together and the awakening, all that, and seeing people wake up, and not with ego. Look, there's a lot of, right now with everything going on in the world, we're trying to spread awareness of what we truly know, but to do it from a place of love, So when I see, because so many people right now are the spiritual ego and spiritual superiority is running rampant. So when I actually see someone leading from the heart, that's everything to me. Because a lot of people have kind of lost that. A lot of the spiritual leaders and this, that, and the other. So when I see someone that just even if they're talking about, I don't talk about what's going on in the world much. In my lives I do, but I'm not posting it and posting it and posting it because it takes me out of the work I'm here to do. Right. So when I see someone who's doing the work that I do and sharing that stuff, but doing it from a place of pure caring for humanity and not ego, that's just everything. Yeah. Seeing people rise up and step up.
I think, sometimes our ego is such a tricky thing. We got to remember, the ego is us, folks, not a little devil on our shoulder. Yeah. And so how smart you are and how you awaken, well, guess what? That ego gets just as smart.
Yeah.
It changes into the spiritual realm really easily, but yet it brings all that judgment, attack, and defense. Marianne Williamson said that, and I love it. Because it's something that I can grasp onto, and I think other people too, that if it's attacking, if it's judging, or it's defending, 99.9% of the time that's ego.
Yeah, of course. And
that comparison, it puts that, oh, well, she thinks she knows that, but that's ego, folks.
and it's okay, because we are still human. Are there times where I judge? Of course, I'm human. I'm not a Buddhist monk that just sits there and meditates 12 hours a day. I don't claim to be. Like I'm in this world. So things do come up, and there are people doing wrong in this world that I'm just like, am I judging them? Sure, but it's. We're here to help everybody, and just because someone doesn't have our same belief system, eventually they're going to wake up, and with the mass awakening happen now, they need our help. So we can't look at them as because they're not woke as us. And if you're listening to this, I just did air quotes when I said woke. So but we see that happening in Facebook groups, attacking people. I'm like, they're just like, this person was in corporate America in 9 to 5, and then 2 weeks ago all of a sudden they started feeling different. Now they're crying on their couch every day like, what's going on with me? They need us, so
totally. Well, they need something. I tell my boys this. I've always told them, I've always said, you know what? Everything is a vehicle for connection. You just have to find what helps you to fully connect. And that is the truth for you. I might not be the truth for you. And that's okay.
Absolutely.
But Greg might be it. Or the Jewish rabbi might be it. It is what is truth for you. And so if we always, I don't know, I've always found that when I think that way, it's okay. I don't know your truth.
Absolutely. And it's being discerning, it's always being discerning. I tell my followers, I say, listen, even when listening to me be discerning, who knows, I may be wrong. This may all be, who knows, but if you're hearing, because you have a lot of people who are super channelers and stuff saying things different than me. So in reality, who knows? Just be here and now, do the inner work. That's the answer. Literally the answer to every question. People are trying to force their purpose and force their gifts and abilities and, sit there and read everything. What starseed am I? And, and they get so inundated in everything. I'm like, listen, there's one answer. Focus within and do the work. That's it. That's all you need. When I started doing that, then the answers came. I stopped looking. I worked on myself. Answers came. But if you're going to because by searching and searching, you're just distracting. It's another form of distraction.
And I'll tell you what, you work through the chakras. That's kind of what I do with people. But you work through it. You become whole. That's what it takes.
Yeah.
That's all it takes.
Yeah.
Whole. The universe hates a void. So become whole.
I like that.
Become whole. And how can people find you if they want to?
So on Instagram, it's at spiritual.badasses. On Clubhouse, which I'm getting more involved in, is at spirituality. I somehow got the most amazing username on there, at spirituality. You could Facebook my name. If you go to my Instagram and look at like the link tree, there's other things, for all the services and the events I do. Definitely tune in every Sunday night for the sound bath, and Wednesday night, check out the links for that and whatnot. Or if you feel like talking, IAM at gregprasker.com.
Beautiful. It has been a joy to have you on.
Thank you.
And folks out there, I love this show because it brings you the reality of being a spiritual healer, and that's what's so cool. And then you can see how you're on the right path. You are just fine as you are. Just keep growing. And then for everyone out there, for Soul Manifesto, check it out, because Soul Manifesto soulmanifesto.com is an incredible place of people who just want to be that whole self, that want to hear that soul guidance, who want to and are on the way and on the journey to do so. Incredible fun ways. And check out soulmanifesto.com because we've got some incredible, cool things happening. Even I'm kind of impressed. And we've got a wonderful, even the healing jewelry on there is kind of neat, along with the inevitable you, because guess what? It is about the inevitable you. Mm-hmm. So as I always say, spirit is love.
This has been Magical Moments with Alena, featuring Alena Chapman. If you missed an episode, download it now on iTunes, Spotify, TuneIn, CastBox, Deezer, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, or your favorite podcast platform. Learn more online at soulmanifesto.com.